Dude, I can't wait for this holiday party.
It's going to be so much fun, dude. I cannot wait.
Yo, what's going on this weekend, guys? What's up?
Hey, there's Temple basketball tomorrow night, right?
Yeah,
That's what we're going to be watching.
And we're also, we were talking about the UConn game. The UConn game, that was a good game. And,
what are you doing this weekend?
Yeah.
Just going to the game.
It should be fun.
Yeah, we're definitely not doing
No football
anything.
this weekend, so it's kind of going to be kind of boring.
Definitely not doing anything.
We're not going to a party or anything like that.
Yeah, so it'll be a quiet weekend.
Yo, what's up, boys? You guys hear about that party?
Hey, Tom,
you guys going?
I'm going to be there, dude.
Yeah,
I'm
so excited.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Crazy.
Oh, man. So, Brian, we'll see you, I guess.
Yeah, have a good weekend, man.
Hey, but first, let's take a timeout.
Season's greetings, Owls fans, and welcome into the final Temple Timeout before Christmas. I'm Adam Miller. Alongside me, the Donner to my Blitzen, Brian Steinmetz. Brian, have you transitioned into the holiday spirit yet?
Adam, I gotta be honest with you. There's no other way to put it. I've been in the holiday spirit since November 1st, but now officially, it's the most wonderful time of the year. And man, I am ready to get into all the holiday spirit. And let me tell you, Temple Sports has been making me feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
Yeah, they're giving me that waking up on Christmas morning type of feeling. The only difference here is instead of giving out an iPhone or some clothes, they've been handing out W's, man.
Yeah, it's been sweeter than Grandma's Christmas cookies. But let's take our first bite into some of these wins, starting with the football team who took on UConn in their final home game of the year. Starting this one off in the first quarter, and Ardell Brown gets the Huskies going early with a 51-yard bomb from Jack Zergiotis, and the Owls are stunned to start this one. Later in the first, backup quarterback Steven Krajewski rushes in for a touchdown of his own, and early on it seems the Huskies are getting everything on their wish list.
Yeah, but later in the first quarter, Russo throws up a prayer to Brandon Mack, and he makes it come true. The Owls get on the board with a 63-yard touchdown. Then, late in the second quarter, Owls are trailing by 10, and Todd Santeo's in, and he gift wraps this ball for Jaden Blue, and he ties a bow on it. Owls cut the deficit to 3.5.
That deficit did not last long, as in the first drive of the second half, Temple rode down the field and capitalized. Brandon Mack, another touchdown, and the Owls took their first lead. But let's not forget about the other option on offense, and that is the run. Ramon Davis prances his way 55 yards for a score of his own, and the route is on for Temple.
And it was the defense that put the star on top of the tree with Sam Franklin getting this pick and riding all the way to the end zone. Owls win their regular season finale 49-17, leaving UConn winless in their AAC final and their last game in the conference. And that game was actually senior day for the Owls. But what people don't realize that senior day isn't just for graduating football players. It's for everyone graduating, including the band, and Temple senior linebacker Sam Franklin wanted to make sure they knew how important they really were.
Not a lot of people show appreciation, they get claps, but they get looked over a lot, and I don't want them to feel like their job went unnoticed. They do a big part for us. They help us out a lot.
Hopefully the football team has done enough to help send them and the band to a nice bowl game following their win against the Huskies. Joining us now to talk more about it is Donovan Hugel. And Donovan, it's great to have you on.
Thank you for having me, boys. I'm very excited.
Now, Donnie, I know you're a big football guy. I know you're a big Temple football guy, and you're paying attention to this bowl season. What are the most likely bowls you think the Owls might go to?
Yeah, there's been a lot of speculation for a few weeks now since Temple got their 6th win on what game they were going to be in. But now it's really boiled down to 2 games, and that's a Military Bowl and the Gasparilla Bowl, which Temple played in 2016 and 2017, respectively.
I remember that Gasparilla Bowl was one to remember, man.
Oh, yeah.
It was a nice one. So, Donnie, if you had to pick one of the two, what are you going with?
I'm thinking the Military Bowl, and it's probably going to be against Pitt, another in-state school. It'll be an exciting game. Temple is 8-4 right now, ranked 73rd in the country in strength of schedule. Pitt, slightly worse record at 7-5 and 58th in the country in strength of schedule. Both teams are also led by their defenses, so it could be a good, tight contest, low scoring.
No Hawaii Bowl, huh?
No,
man, I want to go to Honolulu, man.
I know, probably not though. Sorry, buddy.
That's okay. Now, I know this is a little off topic about where they're going to end up, but Rod Carey, he's 0-6 in bowl game history. How do you think he's going to do with the Temple Owls this year?
I'm going to give this game a 50-50 chance. Pitt had a harder schedule, slightly worse record, but had, better games against better opponents. Carey is coaching, though, a better team here at Temple than he ever had at Northern Illinois, I feel like. And he has a motivated senior class on the defensive side of the ball that wants to end their college career on a win. And last year, guys like Delvon Randall, Rock Yassin, 2 defensive stalwarts for the team, didn't play in the bowl game, getting ready for the draft. But guys like Sean Bradley and Quincy Roche, they want to play this year and get that win.
Donovan Hugel saying the Military Bowl against Pitt is where they're going to end up. We'll find out over the weekend. Donovan, great stuff as always. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Now, I'm happy Donovan brought up that defense of Temple's because a player on it is actually this week's Miller's Killer, who is more deserving in all of Temple to earn this spot in the segment than Quincy Roche. Am I right? It's Quincy Roche. He's got to be the guy. Considering he just got named the AAC Defensive Player of the Year, I think that he's the guy for this spot. He's been a man on a mission all year, racking up 44 tackles, 18 tackles for loss, and 13 sacks on the season. And speaking of that sack total, he needs just one more to be the all-time single-season leader in Temple football history.
Outside of the football team, Aaron McKie has been making Temple fans feel all jolly, racking up wins left and right. In fact, McKie is the first-year Temple men's basketball head coach since James Yulston Sr. to go 6-1 or better in their first 7 games. And the Owls picked up a few of those wins in the Orlando Invitational Tournament.
That's right, Stein. And you could say they had a magical time in Orlando. Yeah, you get it because it's Disney World,
Disney,
right?
Yeah.
Never mind. But in all seriousness, they did take care of business, going 2-1 by beating Texas A&M and Dayton. And they only lost to number 3 ranked Maryland. But let me tell you, that game came down to the wire, with Temple only being down 3 in the final 12 seconds of the game. Listen, man, what do you think about that Maryland game? I mean,
I was watching it at home with my dad, and I was like, if Temple's able to pull this game out, they have a chance to be ranked.
Yeah, I really thought they were going to win it, but, they came through at the very end, the Maryland Terrapins.
Too much firepower.
Yeah, too much firepower, but not too bad.
But here's the good news, Adam. The Owls have plenty of good games coming up, and since we won't be able to talk about them because we're on a break, I figure we should make a realistic wish list for the team's upcoming games. What do you say?
Yeah, I say let's do it. Starting off just like Christmas, we wish that we could get everything we want, but we know that's a bit ambitious. We're going to take a look ahead at the men's basketball games over the break before Christmas and give you our wish list for those games. Starting with Mizzou, we think Temple is going to win this one, right?
Yeah, I think Temple will win this one. I mean, Missouri hasn't had the best start to the year, and I think at home, the home crowd, I think it'll bode well for Temple.
Yeah, final score we're guessing is 73-59. Next game, we got St. Joe's. They're 2-7, and they're going to be playing against Temple at St. Joe's.
At the Leah-Core Center.
At the
Leah-Core Center next Tuesday night, December 10th. And Temple doesn't have much to worry about with St. Joe's. They're not that, they're 2-7. Ryan Daly's has been playing very well for them, but other than that, I think he's. So I think Temple will beat St. Joe's 80-63 in that matchup. After that, Miami and Temple will square off in Brooklyn. And Miami's done pretty well so far this season for themselves, but I think Temple will not fare too well in that matchup. I think they're going to fall. They're going to drop one of the next 4, and I think if it is, it's going to be the one against Miami.
Yeah, it's hard to get all those wins, you know what I mean? And I know Miami just dropped that tough one to Florida, but I could see them totally bouncing back against Temple. Now, their last game over the break is going to be against Rider. Our prediction is Temple's going to win this one. It's going to be a close one, but it's going to be Temple 72-68.
And it bodes well for the Owls that they have a lot of home games over the break, so they don't have to travel that far. They have some teams who are struggling, obviously, in Missouri and St. Joe's, and adding a couple wins is great for their confidence.
Yeah, you got to start wondering if they're able to go 4-0 in these next coming games. At what point do you consider ranking the Owls? This team certainly looks like one that could compete in March.
March Madness. What a beautiful time for great basketball, brackets, and of course, betting lines. Speaking of which, it's time for the last Stein's lines of the semester. Now, with AAC football being over, except for the championship, bet Memphis in that one.
Oh, okay.
We're going to move ahead to some college hoops instead for this last edition. Now, at the time we made this, the lines weren't out for the Saturday slate, but we did get a few top 25 games here, so you see my highlighted choices. One that I'm confident in is the Duke spread. I think they feel a bit disrespected. They had a couple teams have them on the ropes, and I think they'll be able to bounce back well. And as you see there, Temple and Mizzou are also on my list, and they're going on this weekend. But again, no spread was created for them. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't matter because I'm going to go Temple either way. Absolutely. We're riding them all season long. So those are the Stein's lines. And if you're betting, please bet responsibly.
Yeah, we love Temple here, don't we?
Absolutely.
Big Temple guys. We're going to pick them to win every game they can. But it's almost time to check out for our winter break and the holidays. But before we do, we need to settle a little debate between us, starting with Sport Desk anchor Kenny Cooper, who is here on desk with us. Now, Kenny, we got to explain what's going on in this video. We're having a little bit of a back and forth, aren't we?
Yeah, it's a bit of a healthy rivalry. Sometimes gets a little bit unhealthy, but at the end of the day, we all know who's better.
Yeah, roll the tape.
Flag football is not a sport. Flag football is not a sport.
What have you done?
Muscles. He has pads.
What have you done?
He has pads in his jacket. And he's going to keep. He's standing.
My man, you were the 15th man on your high school team in JV.
I'm a walking bucket. No one gets more buckets than me.
He wants to
shoot pieces of paper in a basket. I told him to come here any day of the week. I get a basket. We can shoot real buckets at the court.
The most irrelevant person I've ever met in my life.
Look, it's whatever. I'll be up here on Saturday if I want to. You want to hoop on Saturday? We go hoop on Saturday. Oh, he's quiet. He's quiet.
Shut up.
He's quiet. You good on Saturday? Are you free on Saturday?
I'm not going to show up if you keep making noise.
See, oh my God, he's such a coward. He's just a coward. I smell fear in the air. He has no athletic ability. Look at his calves.
You have no athletic ability.
He has baby calves. Please get the super zoom in. Get the super zoom in.
You look like Toad. What is this?
Oh my God, he's an absolute clown.
To settle this little debate, we're going to have a little shooting competition here in the studio. We're just going to take these pieces of paper.
There's a nice hoop set up right there for us. It's a homemade hoop. Donovan Hugel's back there with the time. We're using him for two different things today. We're using him for Temple Bowl predictions and as our timekeeper. So we're going to get started. Donovan, you tell us when to go. Give us a countdown of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh,
Broke.
Oh, baby. Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy. Oh, good Lord.
This is pitiful.
Oh, man.
There's one.
10 seconds.
Oh, no. I'm getting nervous. I can't even crumble him up. For the buzzer.
At the buzzer.
At the buzzer. Oh! All right.
There's only two pieces of paper in there,
I believe
right?
I made about 3.
Yeah, but you crumbled up like 5 pieces of paper in each of them.
For one of them, I crumbled up about 3.
You just picked up the whole stack.
But for the second 2 that I made, it was a single piece of paper. But all right, that's all the time we have here on Temple Timeout for today's edition. Thank you so much for tuning in all season long.